Hey everyone, how's it going? Yeah, it's me. Look around. The snow melted a bit today and yesterday, and it started getting cold again, as you can tell. I played Magic today. I didn't do too bad. I won 2 games with the blue deck, and I went through and I saw some issues I had with it, so I got rid of some of those issues. I got left with some creatures that I couldn't play because of some mana issues. We played a free-for-all. Nobody was on any team. And I'm closing the gate. Hold on just a minute. There's the gate. It closed the gate. Had some mana issues. Wow, look at that. See that? Yeah, melted a bunch of snow. Yeah, look on the side, see? It's crazy. But, yeah, anyway, so I had some mana issues, and I went through and I redid some of it, and now I've got it set to where even if certain cards are played, I have backup cards, and that's kind of what I was looking for. And I found some more cards that when I tap it, I can destroy my card and bring up a basic land card. And that's one of the things that was kind of holding my deck back, was the ability to get different colored mana up. I'm actually not just playing a straight out blue-green deck anymore. What I did is I took my multicolored deck, and I took my Planeswalker deck, and I took my blue deck and the Merfolk deck, revamped it, got rid of some really high cost cards out of all of them, and I've combined them into one big giant deck. And when I say big giant deck, it's probably got about 300 cards in it. Now, anybody that's ever played Magic is probably like, why the heck would you have 300 cards in the deck? Well, I've got a lot of what I call special summon cards, which lets me go through the deck faster. I've got a lot of cards that let me draw extra cards every turn. So, and in case somebody tries to mill me out, that's fine. I had to put some duplicates of different cards in the deck so that I had the ability to bring cards back from the graveyard. And so a lot of the cards, believe it or not, a lot of them are duplicates. And I've probably got about 12 to 15 cards, I'm guessing, that don't cost anything for mana. So that's a big, huge plus, because then I can turn around and bring it up, and when I bring it up, I can use the effects of it right away. Now, the cool part about this is it doesn't require any mana. All the ones that don't cost anything for mana are artifacts, and half of them, if anybody's familiar with Magic, I'll tell you right now, artifacts are one of the few things that you can bring up and tap right away. They don't suffer from summoning sickness, unless of course it's a creature. So if it's an artifact or an equipment or whatever, I can play it for free and then utilize its effect. Now, I've got quite a few cards in there that, like I said, cost 0 mana. So I can play my, I got 3 different equipment that don't cost anything. So I can play them for free, but I'll have to pay the equip cost later on. Now, an equip cost is a colorless mana, okay, that you have to tap. Now, it ranges from anywhere to 1 to 6, usually, for your equip costs. And it depends on the type of equipment, okay. Some equipment's pretty cheap, 1 to equip. Some of it can cost up to 6. I don't have any equipment that costs 6, so that was one of the things I got rid of, was my equipment that cost really high to equip. Another thing I got rid of was high cost cards that cost me like 8 or 9 to play a mana. And I tried to get rid of most of my cards that require 2 or 3 of the same color mana to play, which gives me versatility. Okay, like if it costs like 1 black and I have like only 1 black on the field, I can still use that to, bring up whatever it is. Got to be careful when playing a multicolored deck. Okay, number one thing is what you're going to need to summon it. 2, you got to look at your individual colors. The third thing you got to look at too is when it comes to your mana, or you got to make sure that you have like what I call backup mana, or artifacts or creatures that you can tap for mana, because you don't want to become too dependent on one color mana. You don't want to become too dependent on a certain color of mana. For instance, I don't want to become too dependent on green, because if my green gets destroyed and I'm relying on a green all the time in order to play something, I have to have some other thing to bring them up. So what I did is I did put in a couple artifacts. Now these artifacts tap for mana. Now the cool thing about some of the artifacts I put in there, they're indestructible. Okay, now some of you are trying to figure out what indestructible means. Indestructible basically means this: it cannot be destroyed. It can still be sent back to my hand, it can still be removed from the game, but it cannot be destroyed. So anything that says destroy one artifact or destroy artifacts makes it immune to that. And that's one of the things that I added so that I could tap it for any color mana, and made it to where it was cheaper to bring up. And I also put in cards in my deck that, 2 cards in fact, and I have 2 duplicates of each card, so that if the one card gets into the graveyard, it's not that big a deal. And what it does is basically some of these cards let me bring cards back from the graveyard, or doesn't limit my hand size. Now the reason why I did that is because, remember earlier in the video I was talking about getting stuck with cards in my hand. So I put some cards in there that didn't cost any mana, which means I have no maximum hand size, and it costs 0 to play. So I can end up with like 10 or 12 cards in my hand, and I'm not going to have to worry about it. Now another cool thing that I put in my deck was an extra enchantment. It costs 3 to play it. And what it does is I gain life every turn for the number of cards in my hand. So if I got unlimited hand size, that means I can literally gain unlimited whatever I got in my hand for points every turn. And another thing I did add is protection, to protect my enchantments. I'm trying to get the deck set up to where it plays extremely fast, alright, and I'm trying to get it to where I'm not so dependent on numerous amounts of mana for each one. The problem is, and I do have another card in there that makes all my artifacts indestructible. I have an enchantment that lets me bring up a copy of an artifact every turn. Now, a lot of you might sit there and think, why would you want to have numerous copies of the same artifact? There's a reason for it. This enchantment lets me tap. If I put it on an indestructible artifact, it will make it to where I can tap it for mana, any color mana. And so if I put it on that artifact, I can make a duplicate every turn for free. Now, that sounds like really good. I can tap it for any color mana every turn for free, and I get to bring up a copy of it every turn. This sounds like an excellent idea. Besides playing my mana, I get to do that. There's a catch to it on their part. If I end up with a total of 8 copies of the same artifact on the field, they lose the game. I automatically win the game. Now, that's an enchantment, and it's the same enchantment that I put on Thing. So I had, like I said, I had to protect my enchantments. So what I did is I put in a couple different enchantments that protect my enchantments. Now that seems kind of weird, but to protect an enchantment is to make it indestructible. There's one enchantment I got. All my enchantments become indestructible. Now the other enchantment I got can't be the target of spells or abilities. So if I can get both those up and get my enchantment up, which is a total, and I counted it up, by the 4th turn, I could play all those enchantments and the artifact. So if I can get the artifact up, get the enchantment equipped to it, by turn 4 I can keep producing these indestructible mana. And the mana on the artifact will let me bring up every card in my hand, because it's basically, I think my highest card is a 7, and I think I got a few of those, but only a few. There was one card, it's a Planeswalker, that costs like 8 or 9, which sucks. But it doesn't suck so bad for me. It sucks more for the person I'm playing it against, because when the Planeswalker comes up, I get to destroy any permanent, and that's the first ability. And yeah, he's not a nice Planeswalker, and he requires 9 mana. So if you figure it out, all right, 9 mana, right? Okay, so you got 9 mana. You need 9 mana. After turn 4, you'll be able to bring up that 1 mana. So then you'd have 4 mana on the field, and the other artifact will make 5. Well, by the next turn, you play another mana, so you have 5 mana on the field, and you bring up another artifact that's 6, 7. By turn 6, if I got it figured out right, I have a total of 9 mana sitting on the field. And by having the 9 mana on the field, I'd be able to destroy any permanent, and that's turn 6. Okay, so by turn 7, max most people are going to have is 7 mana. So I'm going to, by turn 7, have 11 mana to use. And by using 11 mana, I can destroy literally anything, bounce anything back, remove from the game, and cancel all in the same turn. And the other cool thing about it is, and destroy 1 permanent. So literally by turn 7, I should be able to take anything out, bounce it back, take it out, cancel it, make them discard. By turn 7, I should be able to do all that. And that's the goal for the deck. I will let you know how it goes next weekend. We'll see how this deck works. And, you know, any cards that get played against it, we'll see how well it works. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. I hope you have a terrific day, and take care. Bye for now.